Hey guys, it's me. In today's video, I will teach you how to use kayo's flashes. I will not teach you specific lineups and stuff because there are actual lineups that you have to learn, but I'm just going to show you how you can use this flash for your advantage and how it works specifically. Kayo is extremely powerful. He's an extremely powerful agent, and he might be a much needed agent in every composition. With this E being very powerful, C being able to deny area, X just completely stopping pushes and making retake easier. Kayo needs to be learned. I mean, he's an insane agent. I think everybody should learn this agent. And his flash is extremely powerful if you use it for a team, and also powerful if you play him as a duelist. Kayo can be played as an extreme duelist with his flashes or extreme initiator with the support flashes with the left click. I'll teach you how to use both. So starting off with the basics, when Kayo does a left click flash, it takes 1.6 seconds before it explodes. So if I throw, it takes 1.6 seconds and then it explodes. It's quite a long time, so it becomes a bit difficult to get adjusted. Suppose you're trying to peek a corner and you decided to do a left click flash, you will have to be aware that it takes time. It takes 1.6 whole seconds and then you will have to peek. The right click flash takes only 1 second, so it's quite fast. If I just right click, it takes 1 second before it explodes. Another thing to note is that since the latest patch, for some agents who flash, it's actually much easier to turn the flash and you won't be full blind. They have made this change. So whenever there is a flash coming at your face and you decide to turn around, you will not be full blind like you used to be. This was a very common case with Yoru, where Yoru's flash would make you full blind when you turn around, making you completely disorientated, and you will have a wrong position when you aim back. So this is how it looks like. I'm doing right click, I turn back, it doesn't make me completely blind for a long time, and it really helps to push through. Starting off with the right click flash, obviously right click flashes will be used to turn corners and check clear corners, but it can also be used as a pop flash technique. Whenever you are close to a corner, a must thing to do to flash would be pop flash. Pop flashes are where the flash appears at the enemy's face like a few milliseconds before it explodes. So if I do like this, this is not a pop flash. This is not a pop flash because the enemy is able to see the flash for a long time. But if I do this, this may be a pop flash because the enemy sitting here will see the flash a few milliseconds, like right here before it explodes, giving him or her no time to react. If you want to learn how to do pop flash, you will have to practice it a lot in game to know the angles and distances. It's just like a phoenix flash. When you're phoenix and you're trying to flash, the best way to pop flash would be to hold at some distance and turn 45 degrees this way. And it comes from practice. Similarly for Kayo, it comes with practice. But there is some basic things to know about an underhand flash. An underhand flash distance is determined by the angle that you look at. If you look above too high, the flash will not go too far. If you look at the ground too low, the flash will not go too far. So far it appears that if you aim at the ground, like at this point, the flash will go at a maximum distance. However, even here you can do that, but it will not cross the maximum distance. Here is an example. I'm aiming over here, the flash should go over here. As you can see, it crossed, and this is considered a pop flash because when you do that, the enemy has legit no time to react. Of course, the enemy can hear the sound cue of the flash and turn around, but it would still be difficult to determine where the flash is coming from, and it would bamboozle enemies trying to, be prepared. If I do a flash that's over the middle of the wall, as you can see, it did not cross the wall, it just hit the edge. And if I look above, it doesn't even cross the wall at all. So it's like over here. When I do it to the middle, it comes here. When I do it over here, it comes here. If I aim too low to the ground, it bounces and just stops right there. You can see, it stops right there. So these angles you will have to know whenever you're trying to do pop flash. Where can I use pop flashes? Well, underhand pop flashes can be used to clear close corners or even just use as a pop flash utility. Suppose you're here and you want to peek the enemy and you want to pop flash, an underhand pop flash is a really good idea as they will not be able to hear the sound of the flash and they will be blind for sure. Another way to use the underhand flash of Kayo is an aggressive pushing flash. Basically with Kayo, you are able to throw an underhand as well as get to your weapon quite quickly. So if I throw an underhand and get to my weapon, it's quite quick. So you can play him as an aggressive duelist like Phoenix. How you can do that? Well, you can do a pop flash towards your back. So if you're like peeking this way, you should pop flash behind you and then peek straight away. Straight away. Even if the flash is not cocked yet, it's better to peek straight away, because if the enemy is close, the enemy can hear the sound and turn back, and it becomes a disadvantage for you. So this is how it looks like. I throw a pop flash over here and I peek straight away. I will always have the advantage when I'm peeking. I do not simply do a static stand pop flash, I do a running pop flash. Basically, it's the same thing. You can actually run and throw an underhand flash. The flash will cover a bit longer distance, and you can like swing with it. If you do a running pop flash aiming high, the flash will go a bit behind you. So if you're doing a pop flash aiming high, the flash might not even come to the exit, it might still be here. If you want to do a perfect running pop flash, you should aim at the middle or towards the lower ground when you're flashing. So this is how I push. If I'm trying to push, I aim over here, right click, and then peek straight away. This is how it looks like. You can see the flash is white out and the enemy will have very less time to react. On top of that, you have the advantage. So if you are peeking with your flash, since you are aiming here and the flash is behind you, it should not blind you too much. But the enemy who's over here, if the enemy cannot expect the flash, the enemy will be full blind. If the enemy does expect the flash, the enemy will turn around. By the time, you will still be forward ahead, which will give you an advantage over him or her. These kinds of pop flashes are quite powerful because you will always have the advantage. This is how an aggressive push looks like. I come over here, I flash this way, I clear the corner, and then I run through. Of course, this area should be smoked, but that's how an aggressive push is, an example that I'm giving. A thing to note is that Chaos flashes are quite small in size, so it is quite difficult to react to, but the enemies can still see the flare that comes at the end. Like if you see the flash will glow green, and bam. If I do a left click throw, there is the trajectory, and then you have that green glow. So when the flashbang glows, the enemies can actually see it in bright red color, so it is still possible to like dodge it. That's why if you're trying to use Chaos Flash, it has to be used as a pop flash, or at least as a running pop flash, so that you will still have the advantage even if the enemy is not blind. If you're in a tight corner and you cannot go back or forward, you will have to aim higher in order to do a correct pop flash. If you aim like here, the flash would go quite forward and the enemy will be prepared for it. So like here, as you can see, the flash had landed right outside over here. So that's a very good pop flash. The enemy cannot react to it at all. The left click flash of KO is very difficult to use and requires lots of time to master. It can be used mostly with lineups, but you can also use it as a generic flash. Like if you're trying to flash like long and you want to use a left click flash, you can simply throw over here and it can still flash enemies if they are not prepared. You could also use a generic flash over here that can blind people over here who are looking towards this side. What I recommend to do is, if you learn specific lineups or if you like get muscle memory of KO's left click flashes, you can use them very effectively as an initiator flashes like Breach and Sky. If you're trying to enter into a site, these left click flashes are quite useful. A thing to note is that if KO's flashes are above an enemy, they would still be blind if they are at a correct angle. So if my flash is at this height and I'm still looking forward, that will still get me full blind. So you can use this to an advantage. If you flash above enemies, you could still have the advantage. So if I'm over here and I decide to flash to above, that will still blind enemies and your teammates can easily push through and take side. If I'm trying to like peek A main, you can have your teammates stand over here and flash right here. You can like A come here, flash this way. As you can see, it landed right here. So that is a really good pop flash. A pop flash that cannot be expected since it's coming from here, and anybody over this way can also not expect it because the sound is like at the end, so it's like very hard to react. This is one example of a pop flash for your team. Again, you can use it as a generic flash where you bounce it off a wall, so it goes like this and flashes anybody, but I do not recommend it because it takes time and enemies can like hear the flash coming at you, and if you're like in high immortal, they can easily see the projectile even if it is small, and they can even hear the projectile even if it is small. If it was me, I would just flash like this if I don't want to push and I want to initiate, instead of being a duelist, I'll try and flash above them, because the above flashes are still powerful. Like here, if I aim high and I'm still here, bam, it just blinds me. It actually blinds a lot better if you do it at a certain angle. But yes, that's how you can use the left click flash. It's always advised to use the left click flash as an initiator, but you can also use it as a bounce flash. It's up to you. Another example of this useful left click would be to try and peek the opper over here. In usual circumstances, Breach would have to like jump and flash or do something which keeps him at risk. What you can do instead is flash above, which will easily blind the oppers and they will not be expecting it. Since the oppers will be zoned in at this angle, they will not be able to see the flash that's coming above. So I really recommend to use chaos flashes that way. Pop flashes above, and like for initiating, the left click flash should be used more for initiating, right click for more dualisty style flash. Another thing to note, the last thing to note for this flash video is that if you're flashing, you will have to give comms to your teammates, because chaos flash is extremely strong and it is extremely easy to like team flash. When you're playing as a duelist trying to entry, Phoenix's flash go around the corner so the teammates will still be safe. Chaos flash, however, will not go around the corner, so you will have to tell your teammate that, oh, I'm going to flash, you better turn around. So whenever I'm there, I'm just going to say that I'm going to go in, I'm going to flash, so look back. So I do like this and then bam. If anybody's coming and clearing the right corner, they will not be affected by the flash because it's at the middle and the flash will be behind them. So you can go towards together, one clearing left, one clearing right, and then moving forward with all the other utility. That's a simple guide for how to use the chaos flashes. I will be uploading videos regarding chaos lineups, flash lineups, bomb lineups. I've already got a grenade lineup actually. So for those of you who have made it to the end of this video, this is a simple lineup. If you see here, the left click thingy, aim over here and then drag it up till this height. And if you do a throw, left click throw on the bomb, it should land right at generator default. This is a very strong lineup to counter plants. So yeah, this is one lineup that I've just found, and yeah, there are more lineups that I'll be posting, especially flash lineups. I feel like everybody needs to know the flash lineups. When you played CS, there used to be lots of flash lineups that you would have to learn by memory, muscle memory mostly. If you keep using chaos left click flash for a long time, you will eventually get the hand of it and the hand of distance, but it still takes time to learn. So I recommend looking at my lineup video when it comes out. And yeah, that's a basic guide regarding how to flash as KO, and I'll see you guys next time.